Hi, and welcome to my very first podcast. I'm so excited. My name's Carly, and I'm from Ellie and Flora Handmade. And this is going to be a podcast all about knitting and fibre art and all things crafty. I might include what I'm reading, what I'm watching, music I like, if that's something that you're interested in. I've been wanting to do a podcast for quite some time, but haven't picked up the gumption, the confidence to do it. So I'm just going to go and do it and put it out there. And if people watch, yay. If they don't, I won't do another one. So it's going to be a pretty standard knitting podcast, finished objects, what I'm working on, and acquisitions. I will include today some hand-dyed yarn that I have dyed myself, some experiments that I've done. So let's get into it. The first one that I have is the very first sweater I ever made, and it is this one. It was a very basic sweater, but I learnt so much. So I think it's called the Sweet Country Sunshine sweater. I could be wrong, but I'll pop it up what it's actually called. And it was a drops design, so a free design, because I wasn't sure when I started this sweater if I'd be able to do it, let alone how it would come out. I didn't use expensive yarn. Oh, it's inside out. I didn't use expensive yarn, but it is 100% wool. I can't remember what the brand is called, but I think it's 100% New Zealand wool. So let me show you properly, not inside out. So I was so proud of this. It's just a basic raglan. There's no short rows, nothing exciting or hard. It's knit, pearls, increases, and that's about it, really. Not much to say, but I'm very proud of it. I love the colours. I do always get compliments about the colours when I wear it. I'll pop up some photos if I've got any of me wearing it, but yeah, that's that sweater. And I think it took me about 2 months to make that one. I'm not sure. Then I made the ranunculus, which I think every knitter who knits garments has probably made a ranunculus, but this is my first one. My first lace work as well. And again, very happy with it. Came out really well. Again, not an expensive yarn. I can't actually remember where I got it from or what the brand is, which is really bad for a podcast, isn't it? But I do remember the colour name is called Dusty Meat, which I have no idea why, but that is what it was called. It's a purple, mauvey pink, I guess, pink undertones, but it is a purple, I'd say. Everyone knows about ranunculus. Stuck to pattern, nothing exciting again. Yeah, nothing much else to say. It was a super easy knit up so fast. I couldn't believe how quickly this knit up and how little amount of wool it used. I couldn't believe it. It is a finished object. However, I do need to make some amendments to it. I need to fog back the hem and add some length to the arms because it probably comes up to about here on my arms. So I reckon maybe another ball of wool on each arm, and it'll be the perfect length in the arms. I'm quite happy with the length of the body. It is a little cropped, but that's fine with me. Goes with my high-waisted jeans or high-waisted pants. I love the colour. It's super comfy. It's super warm. Yeah, that's my ranunculus. Now to what I'm wearing, which I know people usually do at the beginning, but I wanted to hold this one off because of what it is. So this is actually a test knit for JS Knit Designs. It's made with Annette Erickson yarn, from which you can get from Spotlight in Australia. I should mention that's where I'm from if you hadn't already guessed. Such a beautiful pattern, like just amazing, well written. This was a test knit. I don't know if I mentioned that before. It's perfect length in sleeves. Like I can stretch it a little bit, but it's still the perfect length for me. There were two options for the hem and the cuffs. You could either do in pattern hem and cuffs, or you could just do twisted rib, and I decided to go just with a plain twisted rib so that the lacework at the top could shine. Again, chose a very neutral colour for the design, for the wool. I don't know if you can tell, but it is slightly mulled in the yarn naturally. It has kind of like a icy blue, I'd say, undertone to it. So in some lights it actually has that little blue/green tinge to it, but it is definitely a light grey. As I said, the pattern was fabulous. I believe it's out now. I will put links below to everything that I talk about, all the patterns and everything like that. It is called the Winter Seashore Stroll, and is part of a collection of the designers. I believe there's a tee, a cardigan, and possibly a vest. I'm not sure about that one, so check that out and see if I'm right. It's got one modification, which was a mistake on my part, but I just went with it, and the designer was fine with that. And that's on the cuffs. So you're supposed to go from the largest needle to the smaller needle and then do the twisted rib. However, I forgot to change needles. So mine has one round of the twisted rib on the larger needle, and then it goes down to the smaller needle for the cuff. Also in pattern, which I actually really love, and I would never have thought of doing it. It's got a little band of double knitting on the edges, and again on the edge there. I am going to take it off because it is quite warm, so bear with me. Oh, it is a very warm sweater. Like, it's very warm. We are in spring, so the weather is getting warmer, although you wouldn't know it the way the weather has been lately. So that's that beautiful, and I absolutely love it. I've worn it a few times. It does need some ends weaving in, but it doesn't bother me at all. I'm still getting used to my tension when it comes to knitting the body, but it is improving, definitely improving. I have two other finished objects, which three finished objects which I don't have with me. because 2 were gifts and 1 I accidentally left at my mother's house. The first one is called the Summer Marguerite Vest. And that was a free pattern. Mum decided she wanted to learn to knit a garment. So she'd seen this vest she really liked, like a tank. But she needed help. And she wanted a free pattern. So I searched for one and I found one for her. And she really liked it. So I went over to her house one weekend and we cast on together. And I taught her some new techniques that she didn't know. Mind you, my mum's been knitting since before I was born, but she'd never knitted a modern garment. Everything she'd knitted had been bottom up, separate pieces, and and sew them together. So this was a first for her, for knitting in the round, and all of the make one lefts, make one rights was all new for her. So we cast it on together, and it was a bit of a learning curve for her. She took a break from it when I came home, and I recast it on because I was actually using the wrong yarn, the wrong needle size and everything, because I just used what I had there. So I recast on with 100% cotton from Spotlight. Again, can't remember the brand, but I'll pop it on the screen, and knit her that. The quickest knit I think I've ever done. It was so quick. I could not believe it. It was quicker than the ranunculus was. It used 3 balls of yarn. Now, my mum is smaller than I am. Smaller busted, shorter, all round a little bit smaller than me. So halfway through, I'm like, I should probably try it on just to see, if it fits me, it'll definitely fit her. So I tried it on. Yep, fit fine across me. So I was like, well, it's definitely going to fit her. So finished it off and absolutely loved it. Now, the pattern, on the other hand, was an issue. Like, just awful. And I know it's hard to write patterns, and especially if it's a translated pattern, which I believe this was, it can be, hard to follow. To say this was hard to follow is an understatement. And my poor mum, who'd never knitted a garment before, really struggled. So she gave up in the end. I had to rewrite the pattern so that we could both understand what the pattern was trying to say. It took me quite a while and a few ripbacks to figure out what the increases were supposed to be. And it wasn't until, I think, 3/4 of the way through knitting this pattern that I realised there's a YouTube video of how to knit it. And I just was like, if I had known this at the beginning, it would have been so much easier. Would have taken less time. But we live and we learn. So now I have learned the hard way to read through people's Ravelry notes before I start a project. Because if I had done that, gosh, it would have been a different experience knitting this vest. In the end, worked out. I rewrote the pattern so my mum could understand it. I could understand it. Would I reknit it? 100% yes. Loved it. It even fitted me in the end. So I would definitely reknit it. It was a free pattern, which, when you have a free pattern, sometimes you have to have some trials and tribulations, as I have learnt. But in the end, really nice piece. Could be worn in the winter over a shirt, as my mum had in the pictures, or just by itself as a really loose cropped summer vest. I feel like you could knit this in so many different yarns. Wouldn't have to be 100% cotton like I did, and I chose quite a chunky yarn as well. I did meet gauge, but could definitely do it as a knitted vest, like with a really nice thick chunky wool or a merino or an alpaca. You could add mohair to it and make it fluffy. It's such a versatile pattern. We just had a few hiccups along the way. The second one that I don't have with me that was a gift for my mum was a test knit, and it was by Moth Folk Knits, who had designed her very own little scarflet. I don't think I have any photos of it, but I'll put a picture up of her modelling it. Such a cute little, super easy pattern, like could knit in a weekend. Again, as with the vest, you could use any type of yarn. You could make it as wide or as thin, as long, short as you like. I used Cleckheaton, I think that's how you say it, Country Naturals Tweed 8-ply, and the ribbons on it grew so much. I think they pretty much doubled, but that's fine. Again, it's such a beautiful, simple pattern. I really do recommend. It's in the same vein as the Sophie scarf, and all of those short little scarflets, but beautiful pattern. Love her YouTube as well, so we'll link her below. And the third jumper, which I cannot believe I do not have with me because I left at a friend's house, not my mum's house. I left it at my friend's house because I took it to her place to show her and completely forgot to bring it home. And that is a test knit for the Knit Pearl Girl, which is out now, and that is called, I can't remember. What's it called? The Lucy Sweater. The Lucy Sweater. That's what it's called. So it was the first test knit I'd ever applied for. Didn't expect to get it, and was shocked when I did. I absolutely loved the test knit. It was so much fun. Sophie from the Knit Pearl Girl is amazing and gave us, I think, almost 4 months to do this test knit. And the group had a group chat with it, which was fabulous. I learned so much in this test knit. So much. So many new techniques, ways of construction, doing things in knitting I'd never done before. The pattern was so well written. There were things that needed changing, but that's the point of a test knit. So I couldn't believe when I finished it that I had knit this sweater. The amount of pride I have, even though I've left it at my friend's house, the amount of pride I have in this sweater, I can't even explain. It is extremely oversized, so I could have actually gone down a size that I knit. So I knit size H, I believe. No, size J. And I could have gone down to an I. It's that oversized, and that is because of blocking. When I made it and I tried it on, I was like, yep, nice, looks good. I blocked it, and my goodness did it grow. I reckon a good 5 inches on the sleeves and the body. It was good that it grew on the body because even though it's still cropped, it was a lot more cropped before I blocked it. but I got there. It took me a while to do it, and something that I did learn, which I don't hear much in the knitting community, and that is that I do not like body island. Once I'm on the full part of the body and I've joined in the round and it's just the body to knit, I hit body island and I have to find ways to get myself out. Sleeve island, all good. Don't mind, have no problem with sleeve island. I don't know why. I think because it doesn't take me as long on the rounds as a sweater does. And I'm averaging about 20 minutes per row for the body. So it takes some time. Clearly, I'm not a skinny person. I have boobs, I have a tummy, I have hips. So I am knitting larger sizes. However, body island is something I'm learning to tackle. With the Seashore stroll, what I did was I got to the part where you connect the arms, split the arms off, knit maybe 3 inches of the body, did the collar, did both arms, and then finished the body. Part of the idea of doing it that way is so I could see how it would fit with a bit more, with the collar on, with the sleeves done, and how the weight would drop a little bit, and how much longer I really did have to knit on it before the hem. I believe I stuck to the pattern on this one, as with the other ones, because I don't mind, like, I do wear high-waisted jeans, so I like that cropped sweater look on those. If it's a really oversized sweater, I do prefer it longer, so like hip, top of a normal pair of jeans, belly button, a little bit longer. But for the jumpers and sweaters I've done so far, it's been good. Time for a drink. So that's all my... Okay, I hope you're in the same spot. I had to just pause the video there. But I'm back, so hopefully we're still good. Whips. I have a few. I went through a week where all I wanted to do was cast on new projects. So we'll go from the ones that I'm working on least to the ones I'm working on most. So what I'm working on least at the moment is the Sailor Swift vest. Apologies for that noise. We're a bit muddled up, but we'll get there. So I'm doing my Sailor Swift vest by Petite Knit. That's all I've done. That's it. A few rows. And I don't think I've worked on this for about a month. I'm using 100% cotton in cream and pink. And that's what they look like. The pink is a little bit mulled, but it's gorgeous. And they're so soft. 100% cotton for both of them. But yeah. They are part of a knit along for... I can't remember who. But it is part of a knit along. Lovely Day Knits, I think. Yes, Lovely Day Knits is doing a knit along. It was for October. And yeah, I didn't really knit along. I started, but yeah, that's as far as we got. The next one I have is a pair of socks. So these socks, again, I haven't done much of. They're kind of like my traveling socks, or, you know, if I just want to do a few rows of something. There they are. There's my socks. Yeah. So these are the colours. So this one is a mix of brown, orange, grey, cream, and this is kind of a yellow undertoned green, I'd say. It's Concept Cartier sock yarn. I'm not sure what the colour is actually called, or if it is just a number, but I'll pop it down. So these two, this will be the main part of the sock, and then this will be the cuff, the heel, and the toe. Absolutely love the combination. It will be a really nice sock. It's just the plain vanilla sock by Summerlee Knits. The I'm So Basic sock, I think it's actually called. Just something nice and simple. Twist, rib, cuff, stocking net sock. I'm not sure. I think large is the size. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'm generally a European 41, Australian 9 or 10. I'm not sure. I think it's a US 10. So that's my not so worked on sock whip. I then have my not so worked on Sophie shawl. I'm pretty sure it's the shawl, not the scarf. This is possibly, depending on how far I get, knowing that Christmas isn't that far away, this is going to be a Christmas gift. It's using Bendigo Woolen Mill 8 ply. I believe the colour is called Caramel Toffee, which was a limited edition, no longer available. Sorry. I absolutely love it. It's got a little bit of marling to it again, a bit of variegation in it, but it's just gorgeous. So I really should do some more work on this and actually finish it as a Christmas gift. Don't really need to say much about that one. Everyone knows about the Sophie scarf, Sophie shawl. I'm using, I don't even know what size needles I'm using. Oh, there we go, a 5mm needle with an 8 ply yarn. But it's working up really nicely. I just keep forgetting about it. The next one is something that is going into hibernation. It is part of the Random Sweater Cal for October, which I was going full steam ahead and then realised that I really had to work on my test knit. So it got pushed to the wayside. And now I'm at the point where I think I'm just going to leave it. I've lost momentum and I'll go back to it next autumn, fall. So again, you can't really see. I'm doing the yoke increases at the moment. I'm using just a random number wheel picker online to pick the yarn number. and how many rows, different brands of yarn. I've got some Bendigo woolen mill, some Four Seasons and twine, some Bendigo woolen mill, some Claquetan. I think that's it, but they're all pretty much around the same 8-ply yarns, really. Maybe a 10 in there. There is one in here where I've held double because it was a little bit thinner. But yeah, that's what that's looking like. And it's the Step by Step sweater by Florence Miller. I should say that. I was really enjoying it, loving the pattern. Cannot believe how many increases there are in the yoke. How, like, crazy. Compared to the other sweaters I've done, the amount of yoke increases, I thought I'd read it wrong. And the amount of stitches, I thought I'd read it wrong. But everyone that's knit it says, trust the process, stick with it, it'll be fine. All the ones that I've seen so far look amazing, so trusting the process. Love the colours, like they're such mean colours. But there are just so many other things I want to knit, and it is a warm knit. Like, to actually knit this up is quite warm because it's decent, 100% wool, thick sweater. So as we're in spring now, it's getting a bit too warm to knit on. So that will go into hibernation until next fall, or autumn, I should say. The next one I'm knitting is a knit along, and it is a mystery knit along, which I've never done before. I can't remember who the designer is, so I'll pop that on the screen and in the description box. I can't believe I can't remember who the designer is, but loving it. So we've had the first clue. So for those of you who don't know how it works, it's a shawl, and the designer sends out, I think there's 4 or 5 clues that she sends out. So each clue is part of the pattern. She tells you what weight of yarn to use, what needles to use, what the inspiration, I believe, for the pattern is, but you don't actually get to see any final objects, what it looks like, or anything, hence mystery shawl. So the first clue in the first part of the pattern has come out. There is group chats on Ravelry, so we can all share where we're up to, if there's anything we need help with, what yarns we're using. This is what I'm using. It is just the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pastel spring yarn. It's 100% wool. It's got pink, cream, green, peachy colour, orange. It's just stunning, and it's super soft. Now, I might lose some people, but who knows who's going to watch anyway. This is a Temu yarn. Now, we all know the controversy about Temu and their ethics and everything. And in an ideal world, I would love to buy some beautiful hand-dyed yarn, local, but I can't afford that. I can't afford to spend 30, 40 Australian dollars on 50 to 100 grams of hand-dyed yarn. And yes, I do shop at Temu, and many people do, and I want this to be a safe space. I don't want this to be a place where if I use an acrylic or a Temu yarn or whatever, that it brings negativity, because we all can't afford to spend a lot of money on yarn, and it's up to me where I buy it from. And if it's a Temu yarn, it's a Temu yarn. I will tell you it's a Temu yarn. I do have a lot of it, and yeah, I think we'll just leave that there. But yes, this is a Temu yarn. It is for a mystery shawl knit along, and day one's clue is finished. So it was garter stitch. So you knitted a little rectangle, then garter stitch and the start of some lace. I'm not going to show too much detail again because it is a mystery knit along, but that's what it knits up looking like. It's just stunning. For some reason, it reminds me of ice cream. Like a warm, sunny day in summer and ice cream. I don't know why, but that's what it reminds me of. So that's my mystery knit along. So I think the next clue comes out on the 10th of November. I don't even know what the date is today, so yeah. But in a few days' time. So the next whip I have is part knit, is part whip, part FO. So I decided that I wanted to make a pair of the Sanders Garn double slippers for my parents for Christmas, which ended up being for myself. So the first one I made, no problem, fabulous, loved the knit, so much fun. Little bit of an issue with the pattern to start with, but once I figured out the pattern was fine, love them. And then I was watching some YouTube how-tos for this pattern, and I believe it was Sarah from Two Pearls in a Pod, and she said she did the Judy's Magic cast on so that you didn't have to seam the top bit. And I was like, oh, I like that idea. So I did Judy's Magic cast on for the first time ever. Oh my God, game changer. But didn't realize that I had split for the 2 feet in the wrong place. So that's what I ended up with instead of that. Yeah. Too far in, couldn't be bothered frogging it, even though it's super easy. So I was like, oh well, I'll just put them in the washing machine, felt them, and wear them around the house. No problem. Well, they ended up being in the washing machine for, I think, about 2.5 hours. They didn't felt. They did not felt. At all. So I now have a pair of very, very clean, although somehow they've picked up fluff off the towel that was in there. But anyway, some very clean slippers, which isn't quite right. Which then led me to trying to figure out what yarn I could use next to make them that would felt. Because me being the special person that I am, forgot that not all yarn felts. This again was a Temu yarn, super thick, super soft, absolutely beautiful. I had a feeling it was a superwash yarn because it looks quite glossy when it's in the skein. But, you know, completely ignored my gut feeling. And so now I have slippers that haven't felted. And one that doesn't quite work properly. So I decided to do loads of tiny little swatches. And I'm talking like 10, not even 10 stitches, maybe 5 stitches by 5 rows of different yarns that I've got to see what would felt. One felted straight away, no problem, no issues at all. So my whip, after all of that, is this gorgeous, one of my most favorite colors yarns, as you can tell. And that's where I'm up to. This is the first slipper of the new pair. Again, I did a Judy's Magic cast on, split for feet the right way this time. It is 4 Seasons Entwine, 100% wool in the colour olive. And it is true. It's like a gorgeous olivey army green colour. Knitting up beautifully. I know it's going to felt because the swatch felted within 15 minutes. No problem. So ignore the cat hair. So that's what I made. This is quite an active one. These two I made in 2 days at home. And that was at home. I have an injured foot at the moment, so I couldn't work. So 1 day per slipper. This one has taken a bit longer because I went back to work. But I absolutely love the pattern. Like, I almost know the pattern off by heart now. I was inspired to make these by the Norwegian knitter. I've been following her podcast since March, I think, maybe even earlier. And she decided that everyone in her family was going to get a pair of slippers, felted slippers. So she had, I think, like, I'm going to say maybe 60 to 100 pairs of slippers to make. She'd set out her goal and everything. And then had a bit of a knitting slump, so she's now trying to catch up. But I absolutely love them, and I have loved watching her journey making them, and I will continue love watching it until she felts them and gives them as presents at Christmas. But I'll link her YouTube below, so if you're interested, you can go and watch her journey of knitting her felted slippers for Christmas. I cannot wait to finish these, felt them, and wear them. They may become Christmas presents for friends and family as well. They're just so quick and easy to whip up. The last and final whip, I think, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8th, I think. When I started knitting, I was like, 2 whips at a time, that's plenty, and now I've got 8. So we're going to have to really finish off some knits, because there's not going to be any Christmas or birthday knitting, I don't think. So this is a test knit for In Her Hands design. Doesn't look like much at the moment. It really doesn't. That's it. So I'm just starting the decreases for the back armholes. I've done the back increases, knit a bit, and now I'm starting to do the armhole decreases. I am using the most beautiful yarn. So this is what I'm using. It's just stunning, and it's super soft. Again, these are Temu yarns. Don't hate me. But so this is the mohair, 100% mohair. The softest, fluffiest yarn ever. And the most beautiful soft, I believe, 80% merino, 20% polyester. but it's just stunning. It's so soft. It's so nice to work with. Like, it's just producing the most gorgeous sweater. So this is called the Synapsis. I hope I'm saying that right. Synapsis sweater by In Her Hands Designs. I cannot wait to get going. It's a very simple sweater. I think they call it European design. So you knit the back, you knit part of the shoulder with the neck shaping, part of the shoulder with the neck shaping, join together, and I should say join together, knit, join in the round, knit, and then it's got some flower lacework at the bottom. This isn't due until the beginning of January, I believe, so I've still got plenty of time, but I've also got plenty of other knits that I'm working on. This comes together as an DK 8-ply weight. It's on 4.5mm needles, size 7 US, and it's just so soft. I cannot express how soft it is. It's just divine, and I'm loving knitting it up. So I'm hoping to finish the back at some point soon, so I can start on the shoulders and join. So that's all I have for finished objects and whips. The other thing I wanted to show you that is yarn related is my most recent hand dyes. So I've started doing natural hand dyes with herbs and flowers and leaves and things like that. And I've got 2 here that I've done. And I'm in love. So this one here, the yellow, it's a beautiful pale butter yellow, I guess, with some variegation in it. And this was dyed with a rosemary dye bath, and it's 100% cotton. It was from 4 Seasons, 100% cotton from Spotlight. And I did a rosemary dye bath. I didn't add anything at the end. It was, I believe it was just straight mordanted yarn. So I did mordant yarn with the rosemary, which had been left overnight before the yarn went in it, and then left all day. So it's a process, but I love the colour. So pretty. And that was with rosemary. Stalks and all, everything. This one I am in love with. I don't know what I'm going to make. I've got, I think maybe 300 meters of this. And it's the most gorgeous green, olivey green colour. It was originally a mild beige, so it was Abbey Road Wind Cries Merino, something like that, those words in there. Yeah, I think it's Wind Cries Merino, and it was in the sandcastle colour. So it was already like a beigey sand colour, really. And this was with daisies. So I just took the daisy flowers off my mum's plant at home. Don't worry, it's huge. You didn't even notice that I took any. And I've got, 4, 5 skeins of these. These are, I think, about 50 grams each. And it's just stunning. I could not believe how beautiful the colour came out. So I did mordant the yarn with, I can't remember what it's called. Anywho, mordanted the yarn, and then did the dye bath similar to the rosemary, had it on all day, overnight, warmed it up, added in the yarn, left it all day and overnight, I think, possibly. And then I added in some copper, which turned it this gorgeous, gorgeous, stunning green. Like, it is so soft. I think if I've got enough, I may make the cloud sweater or the cumulus blouse by Petite Knit with these. They knit up beautifully, either single or double. I don't think it needs anything added to it. It's quite nice by itself. I know that the brand has their own patterns, and one of them is just this held by itself, and it looks gorgeous. And I think especially for the cloud sweater, this could be really nice. Or even the Monday sweater, a few of the Petite Knit sweaters. It could just, it would be the most beautiful light summer sweater. I can't wait. But like I said, I have a lot of whips, so we might want to finish some of those first before I cast that on. That's all I think I have for this first podcast. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. I'm going to be aiming for like half hour, 40 minutes. I do like to talk, so it could be longer. If you want me to add in what I'm reading or what I'm watching while I knit, more than happy to. At the moment, I've been watching Downton Abbey rewatch for the, third time, I think. I've nearly finished. I've finished season 5, and I think I've just started season 6. So I think this is my third full rewatch. But yeah, so I will leave it there. Please subscribe, comment, tell me what you're knitting, what yarns you're knitting with. If there's anything you want to know about any of the projects that I'm doing or what I have knit, if I've left anything out, please tell me. This has just been filmed on my phone with no microphone, because I didn't want to buy any special stuff just in case I decide I don't like doing it or no one watches. So we'll see. Have a lovely rest of your week or weekend, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye!